First, thanks everyone for attending. I know in the middle of the day it's tough to do some of these things. We will save time at the end for some questions, but throughout I don't even know if we call it a presentation because it's a pretty informal chat we're going to be having here. But use the chat feature, which is in the right-hand side of your screen. You can get it on the bottom. There's a Q&A feature, which we'll be tracking that and answering questions. Sometimes the chat gets to be a lot when you're on a panel and monitoring the chat. So keep chatting with other members that are on. Just know if you want to contact us to maybe address something as panelists, use that Q&A section. And then one advice on the chat, it defaults to just sending to the panelists. So on the bottom, you might want to change it to have it sent to all panelists and attendees. That makes for a better conversation. I already made that mistake where I thought I was kind of welcoming everybody and responding to Jim Bennett, but it just went to us panelists. So the last, I think, housekeeping thing is we will be recording this as well. And then Sara will be sending it out. So if you have a call or something comes up, don't worry about it. We'll send you a link out to it. With that, I think we can get started here. I can introduce everybody. So I'm looking through the attendee list. I recognize a lot of the names. This obviously is our one-year WrenchWay event. Hopefully you're in the right place. If not, Economics 101's down the hall. But no, we have a good team here, a good panel. Like I said, this is going to be very informal. We are going with the happy hour theme. I don't know what part of the country you all are in. We're in Wisconsin. It's 3 o'clock here, which may be early for some people, but it's about right on par for Wisconsin culture. So to get started, I am Mark Wilson, one of the co-founders of WrenchWay. We thought it'd be kind of fun to share what beverage we're drinking here. We all brought a local beverage. I'm in Madison, Wisconsin, so I probably can't see here. It's called the Commuter. It's a Kolsch style beer from One Barrel Brewing in Madison, Wisconsin. Another panelist we have, everyone on here probably recognizes Jay Goninen. He's my co-founder in this venture of WrenchWay. Jay, if you want to just say hi and share what beverage you have today.
Yeah, thanks everybody for joining us. These meetings are way more fun because I get a spotted cow. For those of you not from Wisconsin, I was asking Steve and Kristen this at the top, but that's definitely a popular Wisconsin beer, and I'd like to say it's my first time trying it, but it's definitely not. It's been a lot of times.
That's usually my beer of choice, but I thought I'd switch it up a little. And then we'll stay in Madison here, and Sara Kerwin, she's our director of marketing, plus our DJ that puts the music together before these slides start. So Sara, if you want to introduce and say what beverage you brought today.
Yeah, for sure. So as Mark said, my name is Sara Kerwin. I am the director of marketing. I'm used to being not on camera on these events, so I'm a little weirded out right now, but I'm drinking a Capital Brewery Maibach. It's out of Madison, Wisconsin.
Very good. And then sticking with our last WrenchWay person, Kristen Battaglia. She is not here in Wisconsin with us. She's out of Virginia. She heads up our partnerships, but then the main role she'll have, at least for today's presentation, and what she'll be talking about is our School Connect product. She works with all the different schools, does an awesome job. She's only been with us for, I guess, almost 6 months now. Yeah, almost exactly 6 months. But Kristen, why don't you say hi and share what beverage you're having?
Yeah, so I'm the oddball. I went with Prosecco, and this is not local, and I have a straw, so.
Yeah, everyone's got to be a little different. There's always one.
There's always one.
Just kidding. No, I'm just kidding. Looking forward to hearing what you have to say about School Connect. And then we have the famous Steve Hamre from Lithia. He's been on a few of our podcasts here. We wanted to bring him back again for this anniversary event. Lithia has been a great partner of ours, testing out the program, being a reference, things like that. We'll dive into probably about 10, 15 minutes from now, and really how Steve uses it and gets value from it. But for now, Steve, just welcome. Thanks for attending. And if you want to say hi and let us know what you brought to drink.
Thanks so much for letting me attend, and from the Pacific Northwest, from the great state of Oregon. So I'm drinking Pelican Brewery's called Creamsicle. It's an IPA with orange rind, and it's amazing.
Very nice. I believe I've had that one before, so it's definitely a good one. All right, well, let's get started here. This will take an hour. We may go over a little. We'll definitely save time for questions. Again, though, keep in mind, unlike our normal roundtables, that we keep them, not overly serious, but they attack serious topics. This one, we're going to have fun with it. It's none of ours are scripted, but we're definitely going to be a little more laid back in this. Obviously, we have some drinks in front of us, so that's the case. But Sarah, if you want to share your screen, we can get started with that. All right. So first, the reason we're here, we want to cheers to 1 year of WrenchWay. It seems crazy. It was funny. We were putting these slides together and we wanted to kind of chart out, take the best advantage of the hour we could, and what we wanted to mention. I thought it was funny through that whole planning conversation, not once did we mention COVID, which is pretty crazy that this year we've had in launching this while COVID was going on. I mean, that's incredible to me that all we accomplished, but let's make that the last time we mention COVID in this hour. So before we get started, the quick agenda, quick little cheers. We're going to highlight the different components of WrenchWay. We're going to talk a lot with Steve on how they use the Top Shops part of it and how they get value. We're going to spend a good amount of time talking about our newest feature called Reverse Job Post. We've shared that to a few people that I see in the attendee list. We're very excited to get that out and to hear what you guys think about it. And then, of course, we're going to wrap up with some questions. So Sarah, if you want to go one slide ahead here. So first, anyone who has them kind of virtually, you're not on camera, but raise a glass. Thanks for anyone who's attending. That's a customer of WrenchWay, a panelist, but cheers. Thank you all for 1 year in the books here. Definitely we'll be doing more than that. And also I should have mentioned throughout, we're going to be doing giveaways. I like to throw Sarah off the agenda a little bit. Let's do an extra giveaway and do one right away, Sarah. If you want to just pick a name out here, we're going to be giving away t-shirts. I don't know if you can see these WrenchWay t-shirts, and Steve has one on as well. And then also some koozies. So just fun little prizes. But Sarah, if you want to just pick a random person and shout out their name, we'll then later get their address and info and send them off one of those.
Sure. So the first person I have is David Taylor.
All right. Well, congratulations, David.
Congratulations, David.
We'll reach out to you and get, t-shirt size and things like that and your address. But we'll be doing that a few more times throughout the presentation today. So if you want to go ahead on the slide. So the first thing we want to talk about, we're doing this in order of when during the year we released our features. And the first thing we released was called our Top Shop pages. This still to this day is the core, the foundation of what WrenchWay is. This is not the time we're going to give a full demo of it or anything like that. We can schedule that if you want. But the basic summary is we create pages for our clients, I should say with our clients, to help them highlight to technicians why someone would want to work there. So unlike just a boring job description that's just going to have, a few paragraphs about benefits and compensation, we make these pages all for the technician. It has photos of the shop, video from the management team, or even other technicians. A section that we call Under the Hood that dives a little deeper. It's the questions that technicians ask during interviews, the stuff that really should be said ahead of time. So we help our clients create these pages. I always compare it to, if I were to sell my house, I'm not going to just put an ad in the paper saying 3 bedrooms, 2,800 square feet, built in 1995. No, I'm going to use a site probably like Zillow, where I'm going to post pictures, have a floor plan, get the dimensions of all the floors, everything like that. That in the year 2021, the same thing should be true. And shops and dealerships should have access to those pages to kind of show off why someone should come work there. So in a few minutes, we're going to talk to Steve, and their group has done an amazing job of using this. But first, I'm going to turn to Jay. Without going into all the nuts and bolts of what it is, again, we can go through demos later with people, but throughout this last year, what have been a couple of the things that have really surprised you when we launched this program, and you work with a lot of the clients, what you've learned along the way?
I think we've learned a ton. It's obviously even from the start with WrenchWay, and as we kind of developed the product in general, we talked to a lot of people, tried to get an idea of what technicians really wanted. And I think the funny part to me is we had these 5 categories that we talked a lot about, just kind of in-depth information. The one that I probably underestimated the most was work environment. I think everybody went to comp and benefits really simply, and I think your eye is automatically drawn there. But as we've talked to techs and really kind of learned more about what they're looking for, that work environment piece was huge. And so I think there's I don't want to say I underestimated it, but I did. I think I looked at the other categories as being as important, but work environment was right there at the top. The second thing I learned was how important authenticity is. And when we look at the videos and we see these videos, how important having truly authentic videos is, and really being able to do something where you're showing off your personality rather than just trying to show off, kind of a painted picture, right? Like something that really is what you are, who you are, telling your story. And the impact that having a real story told, I think, is absolutely huge.
Yeah, 2 very good points. The work environment, I do a lot of these demos. That one sticks out to me as well. And then the authentic videos. People in nature are skeptical, but I think technicians especially are skeptical. And if something's a little too scripted, they kind of see right through it. So those authentic videos work really well. One thing that's been, I guess, kind of surprising to me, but not really if you think about it, but where I see shops struggle is they still think there's going to be a magic bullet solution out there of I can just plug in, I sign up for this and all my issues are solved. I'll never have to look for technicians again. And even though WrenchWay has been great, and Steve can talk in a few minutes about how much success they've had, I think what you'll see in his story is they work to use it. So they proactively post their page on different areas. They link it up nicely. They get their probably employees to share it, where that's one of the things in my opinion, we made it pretty easy for these companies to use it and promote it. But Jay, maybe you can talk about some of the other things we're going to do to be a better resource to help make it easier for them to share it. Because that's the thing I think we need to work on, is getting our shops to understand this isn't just sign up and your problems are solved. This is meant to be tools that you can use, but you still got to use them. You still got to put a little effort in yourself. And I don't know, you've switched roles a little here the last month. If you want to comment on some of the things you're doing now with clients to kind of springboard that a little bit.
Yeah, I think a lot of it is just truly that relationship and working directly with the clients, but holding their hand through the process, getting the page, really working with them to get their page done and finished, and make sure that it's in a way that's really presentable to a technician, right? And ultimately, at the end of the day, you're trying to speak to who you are to that technician. So the faster we can get your page up and running, and the more we hold your hand, the better off. We've got some cool things that we're working on right now, where we're starting to offer video, or an element of video to the WrenchWay clients. And there's a lot of times where maybe somebody's not comfortable getting in front of a camera. We want to put them at ease. We want to really kind of make it lighthearted, make it fun. And again, trying to show off that personality in an authentic way rather than trying to do some overly produced video. We want it to be from the heart. And the more that we can talk to them directly, we think we can help them out there. So being able to do that, the video element of that is great. The activity tracker, as we'll talk about, but the guides, having guides out there to really spur some ideas of ways that people can use the platform, which I think is vitally important as you move forward to really have a proactive plan for it. Just a lot of things that I think, kind of going back to the initial question of what we've learned about the platform, that's a lot of it, right? Is just trying to figure out ways to get your word out, to get your story out, and know that it does take work, that it's not a silver bullet solution, but I don't think anything is. And it's just going to take some work, and and take some time and effort to make sure that you have a good strategy and an executable strategy to go find yourself some technicians.
Yeah, definitely. And we'll switch over to Steve here in a minute. While you were talking, it made me think of a couple things. One, those guides for sure have been a game changer, and you'll see a lot more of that from us, of tips and tricks, best practices, things like that. A lot of our clients, they don't have, some of them for sure don't have recruiters, and maybe not even HR at all. So it's a service manager doing some of these things, and they're very busy. So the more we can provide for resources to help out with that. And then the other point I'd make is, although you're very busy, just whipping through and answering the questions as fast as you can. I'm surprised how often we see that. And it's like, no, we got to take a little more time on this. This is being shown to technicians. It's not just like, how can I cross that off my list as done? It should be answers that kind of you're proud of, and you're representing your company when you're posting this. So, maybe take 5 extra minutes to make sure things are spelled right and stuff like that. We of course review all the pages, but that's been a big thing as well. But let's shift over. Steve, I'm curious with you here. Maybe you can start with just what your experience has been. We didn't plan ahead of time for this or anything, so hopefully you don't have too bad of things to say. No, just kidding. But yeah, if you want to just talk about your experience with using it. And of course, I think what most people are probably anxious to know is what benefits you've received from it, what changes or improvements you've seen in your recruiting process.
Absolutely, and thanks for the time. So originally, I wanted to try to get Lithia to do something similar to this on our own. And my thought process was, I traveled all over the country to vocational schools and many other places where there was a group of candidates to talk to. And wouldn't it be a great idea for me to have pictures and a bio of each store that I could kind of attach to each of those candidates? And luckily for me, a little over a year ago, Jay, you reached out to me on LinkedIn. We started discussing things, and I thought, oh my God, this is it. This is what I want. And WrenchWay's become a phenomenal partner with Lithia. We've worked together through some problems and some issues on how to get this thing out and how to work with a group our size. You guys have been nothing but wonderful on listening and reacting and strategizing. So we use it in a few ways. And the thing that Mark mentioned, and to keep in mind, this is both a passive, but it should also be an active source for recruiting as well. So the passive is that it's up, and WrenchWay does some amazing things to get the word out through their mobile app, through their forums, through their questions. But as a employer, I think it's incredibly important to be active with this as well. And so some of the ways that we use it, I reached out to Mark and said, hey, is there any way we can get a QR code with the link to our page? And I think it was 2 weeks or less, Mark got that done for me. We take that QR code and we put it all throughout our stores, in the parts department, everywhere else. So technicians that may even not think about looking for a new career might come in for some OEM parts, be able to scan that quickly on their phone discreetly, right? And actually look into our to what we have to offer through each store and actually apply. We also attach a button to each one of our stores' regular web pages that says Technician Careers. And anybody that clicks on that button goes directly to that store's WrenchWay page. And then, we use it in all of our posted ads. We've made signage that we can take to career fairs. It's been evolving very quickly. And luckily I have a team of 5 recruiters and myself now, and we collaborate all the time. And some of the great ideas that they've come up with, we send out to all the stores. Now, as far as success, I've been really blown away, especially in the last few months. I believe we have about 70 of our stores signed up for WrenchWay now. A few others, I'm just waiting for more information from them to build some pages. But we've had well over 200 candidates come through our WrenchWay pages. We've hired, I believe, over 30 of them now, including quite a good handful of some real seasoned techs. But funny thing, for those of you in the dealership world, we've had all sorts of inquiries, sales positions, administrative positions, all sorts of things have come through this above and beyond technicians. So I think it's a phenomenal idea. I think it's something that just to get it started and then go out there and figure out new ways to use it. It certainly is a great supplement to our recruiting team right now.
Yeah, no, we appreciate hearing that. And I looked before, I think you just crossed over 80 too. Steve's sending me a few more every couple weeks or so. So it's, more and more. I think you guys are like 250 total locations or something like that. I know you're always growing. It's pretty crazy. And then one thing I noticed, so I follow some of your recruiters on LinkedIn. They do a great job of sharing the page, but I've also checked out on the major job boards. And when I see your guys' ads, I noticed that you are highlighting and in bold, say, to check out our WrenchWay page, or just maybe you don't even use WrenchWay, but you say to see photos of the shop and videos, things like that. Have you, not to put you on the spot, but to me, the reason someone would do that is if a technician is scrolling through, that helps you stand out from the 100 other job posts that are out there. But also, if the person's not yet ready to apply, they want some more information, it's such a perfect place to send them. Maybe could you talk a little bit about that and any specific success you've had, including it on the job boards or just the theory of it in general?
I think that's a great question, and I want to add to one of the things that you as Find a Wrench and WrenchWay have done a wonderful job, is you've built it as if a technician told you what they wanted to have on there. All of the basic questions can be answered. Mark, you made a good point, and some of my service managers have sort of pencil whip the order form and send it to me, and I'll usually go back and then have to put on my teacher glasses and say, no, you have some more homework to do. Let's work on that biography and let's sell the store in the town you're in. But as far as posting it and adding that to all of our posts, in my experience, and I've been doing the tech recruiting for a little over 7 years. I've been in the industry for 15. Seasoned techs are a very elusive and shy creature. They don't really want to be found out that they're looking. And so this is an incredible, discreet way, that we can have them check our stores out, check out what we have to offer, check out our benefits and anything else without really having to expose themselves, I think, to their employer or anybody else. And so once they kind of reach out and nibble a little bit, then it's great because they can just ask for more information. That gets directed to me so I can vet it. And then I'll reach out to them immediately and just give them a soft, spiel on what we're looking for, what we have to offer, what that area has to offer. And then usually from there, they go right to a service manager for an interview. So the system is perfect for the, for the query that we're all after. And then from there, it's kind of up to us to handle that information and to handle those candidates appropriately. But it certainly is directed to the right people. It's in the right language, and we've just been seeing more and more results as we get bigger. And I'm always excited to get a call or an email from Mark and Jay about what's coming next. Some things I kind of knew about and some things I didn't, but this thing's evolving so quickly, and it's like added value all the time. So I appreciate that very much.
Yeah, no, those are awesome comments. And again, you've been a great partner. You made a comment there of it's as if technicians told us what they wanted to know. Well, that's exactly what it was. We through our recruiting business talked with a lot of technicians. We surveyed, we talked directly with them, people that hire technicians, and there's a lot of thought that went into those questions. I think at first we had probably 3 times as many questions we wanted to put on there, and you had to narrow it down a little bit, but that's exactly what we were going for. Was if you're a technician looking, what's the information you want to see within reason? You can't publicly share everything, but no, it's been good. I'm gonna shift over here in a second. We'll bring you back for when we announce the new stuff, and then maybe questions along the way, but thanks for that, Sarah. Before we jump into the insiders, why don't you pull a random person again, and let's give away another t-shirt and koozie. And then I can take it.
All right, next one is, let's see, Jeremy Conte. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right, Jeremy, so I apologize, but.
It looks like Steve must know him.
He's on my team. Way to go, Jeremy.
Oh, there we go. Did I pronounce his last name right?
Conte, yeah.
All right, there we go.
Perfect. All right, so moving on to our next, kind of in the timeline of the last year, the first thing we launched was Top Shops. All of these things we're always making improvements to. But the next thing we launched here was called our Ranchwhite Insiders App. So just a quick recap, again, not a full demo or anything, but this is a place for technicians or other industry professionals. We post what we call challenges. They're quick little surveys. You can answer them. It doesn't take any time. I always say you're waiting for your buddy for lunch or something. Instead of just checking ESPN, you can check this once a week or so, or if you're on your couch at home. But you answer questions that help us improve the industry. So we gather up all that data. We don't share, it's all anonymous, so we don't share any information like that. But then we create reports out of it. We create videos. We share that with people in the network, other like-minded groups that want to help improve the industry. We're trying to get feedback from technicians on this in a safe environment that their boss won't see or anything like that. It's been a really big success so far. We give away prizes. Forget who I was talking to. I think someone from on the corporate side of Toyota that they won, or he won, I don't know if Brian Aber is on here, but he won one week the prize, and he said some of his team was skeptical that it was real money, and then it went into his account. It definitely is real money, and it's worth it for us to give out those prizes to get feedback from technicians. So this is something that will play a huge part into the reverse job post that we're going to be announcing here in a few minutes. But I'm going to turn my attention to Sara. You're the one who obviously you oversee all of our marketing efforts, but specifically on the app, you've kind of been in charge of getting technicians to sign up, download the app, things like that. What are some things you learned along the way? It's been about 8 or 9 months now, so it's still pretty early, but things you learned along the way in that process, or things that might have surprised you with the app and how it's gone so far?
Yeah, for sure. So this one seems kind of obvious, but I think it's important to call out is that more people are willing to share their feedback when it's anonymous, and the feedback that they give is way more honest than if their identity was known. So for every one person we see on an industry Facebook group or a forum who's going off about shop management or pay, there's a lot more that are willing to give their feedback in the app because it's anonymous. And they know that no one's going to just come across it, because on Facebook, obviously it's public forums, anyone can see it. So I think the app has been a really good resource for technicians and a safe place for them to provide that candid feedback on the good, the bad, the ugly, all the things in the industry, and it's anonymous, so they don't need to worry about their boss seeing it or anyone else.
Yeah, and I think those forums you're talking about, I mean, we get our share of negative feedback, and negative feedback's good too. Like, you can only improve things once you hear about it. But it's not, I think one of the cool things is it's not just a bitch session in there. I mean, to complain about everything. We get a lot of positive feedback and a lot of stories, comments about how great this company they work for now does it. Maybe they might mention how bad someone else did it in the past, but just overall, I've been surprised by the number of people that don't just answer the question by clicking the multiple choice. They actually provide comments, and those are so useful for us to help share and to help with our videos, things like that. Overall, I mean, it's awesome how much technicians and then even others in the industry want to help out and understand the importance of providing that feedback. So that's been not a surprise for me, but I guess kind of good to confirm that that's the case. Another thing, as I was thinking about this, that was a surprise is, or not really a surprise, just something we need to do better. And again, this is only 8 months old. Of all of our questions, we try to mix in some fun ones and give people chances to win prizes, but there's an opportunity for us, I think, to open that up. So instead of just us posting challenges, we can partner with different groups, whether it's technical schools or like tool companies or other software providers, anyone else who wants to get not access to technicians, because we will never, ever, ever give away that list, or you'll never get spammed or anything like that. But like if you're a tool company getting feedback on certain things, or if you're a software company that wants feedback, just the environment we created is more fun than just a boring survey that you would email out to someone. So I think that's something to look for us in the future as we go into year 2 and beyond here. We can open that up and get other people posting challenges and keep it entertaining in that regard. Before I move on, these next sessions are a little quicker than the Top Shops one, but Jay, do you have any comments just on the Insiders app in general? I ask you because you take all this data and use it for our podcast and the Ranchwhite Weekly stuff that we've done.
Yeah, I mean, just kind of to echo what both you and Sara said, I think the most gratifying thing is hearing some of the people talk about some of the good stuff that happens in the industry, and they have every opportunity to maybe bash somebody, bash a manager, bash a coworker, and it's not. It's a really productive conversation, even if something comes across negative, or there's a negative feeling on something. The insiders do such a good job at kind of keeping it positive, and I think they know our hearts are in the right place and their hearts are in the right place in terms of wanting to make the industry better. And that's what it's all about. You know, that's why we're incentivizing people. And I think, you know, similar to you, I've heard skepticism on, okay, is this a real program? Is that, you know, are they actually sending out gift cards? And it's funny when, you know, I think the Queen of Hearts pot was the first one, I think won like $2,400 or something. And it was just kind of that outreach and how funny it is and how gratifying it is when they win a prize or a big prize for being so valuable to us, right? And yeah, I mean, all in all, it's just been really, really good feedback. It's been a lot of fun to interact with the insiders, and you know, just thank you to all you insiders that are out there listening right now, because it is really, really valuable to us. And I think we can make some good.
That's a great point. And thanks to everyone who does help out with that. You definitely don't have to, and it's appreciated that you take a few minutes to answer those questions. One thing I thought of as you were talking there too is I do a lot of demos or talking to groups about Wrenchway, and the amount of people that have heard of us through Jay's weekly videos and because of the app is awesome. I mean, of course we want it to grow. We're a startup tech company here, but just to see that, and usually you're just, so this is my third startup and the other two grew pretty large, and I feel fortunate for that. But several years in, I was always having to say who we are and what we do. And I still have to do that a little bit, but the amount of people that have heard of us already, and I think a lot of that is because of the content Jay puts out and Sara put out. And a lot of that content comes from the Insiders app. So it's just cool to kind of see that work full circle and see the appetite people have to learn about what's going on and the feedback they have. So again, that one's kind of quick. We want to keep this moving along. Sara, do we want to do one quick giveaway again?
Yeah, for sure. So next I've got Josh Kent.
All right, congratulations, Josh. You'll get a t-shirt and a koozie. Sara or someone on the team will be reaching out for address and sizes. But moving on to one of the, well, we have three things. I think they're all cool. But one of the really cool things, or biggest surprise, I think, for me of the year was when we launched School Connect. We launched this in February. I thought it would be good, but I was blown away by the response we got and how many people. A few of us stayed in the office late one night, and because at first it was a very manual process to add these schools in the shops. And we still review them, so there's some manual parts, but we've automated a lot of it. But we had to stay some pretty late nights to enter in all the information because of the interest that was out there. So just for those that don't know, my 1-minute recap of what it is, it's a platform for instructors of both high schools and technical post-secondary schools to post things that they're looking for help with. It might be shop tours. It might be people to speak to their class. It might be looking for donations for tools or old engines, things like that, scholarship programs. They can post it on here. Then people on the industry side can scan through that. If they can help out, they send a message. They don't have to go through gatekeepers or anything like that. They can message back and forth directly with the instructor, coordinate the time to drop off the donation or coordinate the time for the speaking engagement or whatever it is. And then on the same side, shops or other industry professionals can post things that they're willing to offer, and then the instructors can scroll through those. So it's just almost like a Craigslist, but for instructors and industry people to see how they can help each other out to grow that next generation of techs. Kristen coined the phrase, we'll be bringing Kristen on in a second to that it's a local solutions to a national problem. None of us on this call can solve the tech shortage overnight or maybe ever by ourselves. But if we all kind of work together, and we're not trying to change the whole country or anything, but if we can help out our local school or something like that, or get a couple, it sounds kind of cheesy, but get one or two more kids interested in it and pursuing a career in it, enough people start doing that and you start to affect real change. So I'm going to turn over to Kristen here. She heads up this program. Kristen, if you want to kind of same concept we've been doing for the other two, not so much what the program is, but what have you, this is only 3 or 4 months old, but in that short amount of time, what are some cool things you've learned or maybe some not so cool things? What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, so first I just have to say congrats, Josh Kent, although he doesn't deserve it because he literally is probably flying home from Aruba right now because I follow him on Facebook. So anyway, welcome home, Josh. But yeah, so hi friends, so good to see a lot of you. And, you know, again, local solutions to a national problem. And I think one of the, we've always known that industry wants to help, but sometimes they don't know how. And this is a really great, easy way for them to just log in, connect with their local program. And we just have found that so many shops and dealerships really want to participate in a very positive way on very different levels. And it doesn't have to be donating a vehicle or tools. It literally can be, you know, being on an advisory committee. So I think that's, we've just been really super impressed with industry and how they want to participate with their local programs. And then I think the other thing is, you know, this platform is something that you have to keep on checking back because programs change, instructors change, students change, all needs change. And so whether you're a program or you're a dealership or shop, just keep on checking back on the platform and logging in and making sure that, you know, you're all still connected, still talking to each other, and you know, just be open to new ideas as well.
Very well said, definitely. And Kristen's been an amazing help to get this program up and running. And we launched it in the middle of a semester at an odd time. I mean, we did that on purpose. We wanted to work some things out. We knew by that point instructors were pretty busy with some things. We have more coming out for the fall semester. And semester, that's probably not even the right term anymore. A lot of these programs are year-round, starting at different times. But it was good for us to get this initial version out, get some feedback. One of the things I'd add, and actually I thought of this in the comments, I see Larry from JTech commented, we had a good conversation yesterday about this, of how he mentioned in the comment here that he plans on introducing it to a lot of high schools that they work with. So they're a technical college. I've been really encouraged by that too. We always set this up the same way I just described it. One side you have the schools, the other side you have people in industry kind of talking back and forth and helping each other out. One of the surprising things and I didn't think about was you have the post-secondary schools helping out the high schools a lot. And it makes sense when I think about it, but I never considered that at first. We actually had to build some special tools to even make that happen, to do that. But that's been pretty encouraging. And Kristen, I don't know if you want to make one last comment on that or anything else before we switch over to the next topic here.
No, I just think, I know we're not bringing up the C word, COVID again, but I'm going to bring it up really quickly and just say that, you know, it really has, I've noticed that industry is able, if you're in California, you can reach out to a school on the East Coast. So it's just opened up so many amazing opportunities for our programs. So.
And one comment on this, this isn't a sales plug for WrenchWay or anything, but the Top Shops one that we started with is a paid program. The app that we mentioned, that's free for anybody to use. You can win prizes. School Connect is free as well for both schools and shops to use that. So I think that's been nice too. I mean, we're a business, so we have to pay our employees and keep the lights on. So we have to charge for some things, but that's one that we chose to kind of be a loss leader for us, to get it out and do our part to help grow that next generation of techs. So just want to make that point. I saw people asking how to sign up and stuff in the chat. That part definitely is free. All right, Sara, let's do one more quick giveaway, and then I'm going to jump into the reverse job post stuff.
Sounds good. The next one is Robert Trevino. Congratulations, Robert.
All right, congratulations. So moving on, I'm excited to talk about anything Wrenchway, obviously to have a couple drinks here as well. But what I'm really excited about for this event is to go through what we've been working on for a long time called reverse job post. When Jay and I first kind of came together to create Wrenchway, this was almost our first product before Top Shops. This is something we've thought for a long time. It's one of those like, this is just how it should be. Why is it the way it is now? And I think technology wasn't the way it is, and you just kind of end up doing things the way you've always done it. But as we imagine how the world should be for a technician to find their next employer, to find a better spot if they're not happy with where they're at. Reverse job posts, I mean, we created it and came up with the concept, but it almost created itself just out of need and thinking of how we would want it to be. So what I'm gonna do here is just kind of go through the program. This is going to launch in a couple weeks here. We're talking about it now, but it's launching here soon. Sarah, if you want to go to the next slide. So before we jump in, if you look at, if I'm a technician and I apply to the job boards today, first of all, obvious, everyone's hiring. Madison, Wisconsin, not a very big area. I type in auto technician jobs on Indeed, there's probably 150 or more. If I'm in Denver, some city like that, there's 700, 800. So everyone's hiring, which is a good thing for technicians. If they're not happy, they can find a new place to work, but it's also overwhelming. All those job posts kind of start to look the same. Top Shops helps with that a lot, where you can really dive into the details more, but it is overwhelming for that technician who probably already has a job, doesn't have time to go interview at every place to find out what it's like to work there. They can't ask questions. That was a big thing Steve mentioned when he was talking about how they use Top Shops and how people can reach out and ask questions. And then flipping over, if I'm an employer, I know a lot of the job boards will sell you access to their resumes. We do it on the recruiting side to try to reach out and learn more about the people. The problem with that is that information gets outdated pretty quickly. They'll sell you stuff that clearly hasn't been touched in 2 years, or even LinkedIn profiles don't get updated that often. Anybody, not just technicians, but most people are hesitant to put their name out there. They don't want their current employer to see it. They probably don't want a lot of recruiters reaching out to them as well. So it's just not a great process. So as we thought through, well, how can this be better? In the industry we're in, that most places are hiring, how can we make it better for everybody? But the first person we thought of is that technician who's looking for their next job. So Sarah, if you want to move ahead. Reverse job posts, we're flipping it around. So instead of companies posting, we have an opening for this level and we pay this amount, you can still do that, but we're giving technicians an easy way to say, here I am, here's my information, you come to me if you're interested. It's all anonymous. Sarah, if you want to go through the next screen, I'm going to walk through kind of how it works, not kind of, exactly how it works. So through our free app, through the Insiders app we already talked about, again, this will be live in a couple weeks, but if you're a technician, you can come in, you fill out a brief 15 questions. You do not need a resume. The questions are simple too. Some of them are yes, no. Some of them you click how many years experience, like the one we have on the screen. What location or locations do you want to work in? So I maybe would put Madison, Wisconsin within 20 miles. But then if you want to add other locations, you can. We walk through that in a very simple way. There's examples for every question that kind of guide you if you want a little help to know how to answer it. It's probably going to take at most 10 minutes to do that. Most important, maybe not most, but very highly important is there's no identifying information on there. So not only do we not share your name, not share your phone number, your email, we don't even put on there where you currently work or where you used to work or anything like that. That's my frustration with some of those others, is they might blur out your name, but you can pretty easily figure out who the person is. Or if you see someone on your own team out there, that's not usually good. So Sarah, if you want to move forward. So once you fill out that questionnaire, then we'll match you up with ones, kind of like almost like a dating app, where we'll show, all right, in the area you're looking for, in the type of shop you're looking for, here's a list of places that might be interesting to you. and basically asking your permission, can we share your profile with them? Even though we ask you to share that, it's again, not sharing your contact information or anything about you. It's a blind profile. I'll show it on the next screen, but you're basically scanning this list and you're saying, yep, make it available to all of them. And then you can take off the ones you don't. So if we put on there a place you used to work 3 years ago or something, and you know you would never go back there, you can edit it and delete that one off the list. Even though they can't see your information anyway, we still want to take that extra step to let you block off your current employer or former one or whatever if you want. But once you approve those, Sarah, if you want to go ahead, the next part is the shops on here, dealerships, anyone that hires technicians, they can scroll through and they'll see these profiles. So again, they don't see the name, they just see the experience, what they're looking for. Some of it gets pretty specific of, you know, someone can't work every other Saturday or is looking for this amount of pay. Everything you'd want to know. Again, we have a recruiting company, so we narrowed this down to exactly what's the high level information you'd want to know not if I'm going to hire that person, but if that person is someone I'd want to at least talk to and interview. So the shops scroll through that and they then can reach out. But I do want to make one point on here. You can see on the screen, these only last for 30 days at most. They can be taken down if the person finds a job before then. But unlike other places where resumes are outdated because they're 3 years old, even 3 months old is too long, that person probably already found a job. So these last for 30 days. Then the shop, Sarah, if you want to go ahead, one more bullet. The shop can message through the app and reach out and say, hey, I saw your post. I think we have exactly what you're looking for. In your post, you said you were looking for this. That's exactly what we have. I'd love to talk more. You know, whatever message you want to send them. The technician then can respond right through the app. You guys can have a whole conversation. The technician's identity is still protected. So I think that's really cool that I can ask those questions that I can't ask on a job board and find out a little more. And then once I, as the technician, get comfortable, then I'm like, yep, here's my info. Let's set up a phone call. Let's set up an interview, whatever your normal process is. But the whole concept of this is to try to get those technicians that are used to getting bombarded, that maybe aren't happy with where they're at now, but they're reluctant to go through the process because it's a pain in the butt, to be frank, to apply, get a resume, go in for an interview. We're just trying to reduce friction in that, make it easier for them to start the conversation, hopefully find them a better place to work so they don't leave the industry entirely. Same thing with students. So that's kind of the concept of how it works. We're really excited. I'm going to pause a minute and bring Jay in just for any points that I might have missed on this of just how it works without going into, you know, too much detail.
No, I think you nailed it. I mean, I think this is really something that techs have desired for a long time, as maybe some of that safety and kind of warm feeling that they're, you know, maybe their information won't get exposed where they don't want it to. And I think this is a really, really cool thing for technicians. I really believe that. And I'm really looking forward to getting it launched, getting it out there. I think this is, you know, this is the first time that we're publicly coming out and saying that this is coming. So those of you that are on this call are kind of the first witnesses of this, I guess. But I think you nailed it in terms of what it is. And I think just for me, from a personal level, I'm really excited for what it gives technicians and really kind of gives them the power to really put them in the right spot. We talk about it on WrenchWay all the time, where it is so important that we get the right techs in the right shops so that they stay in the business, they stay in the industry. And I think this is a really good way of doing that.
Yeah, and before we get into how to sign up for shops, Steve, I'm curious, you and I, it was probably a few weeks ago, we didn't get to chat before this event, but so I only gave you like the 30-second description of it, but I'm curious to get your feedback on this. You guys hire a ton of technicians and how you might use it or just what you think of it in general.
I think since the initial conversation with you and Jay about this whole thing, this has been the thing I've been most excited about. I'm excited to share some of these slides with our service managers and explain to them how this works, to show them, you know, what added value this is. But this is exactly, you know, what makes WrenchWay such a great way of, connecting with technicians that are probably working somewhere else right now. And this certainly puts everything at their time and on their comfort level. And then as they're able to, get some information to us that we can sort out and hopefully show them some good offers that are what they're looking for. So I think this is a phenomenal idea. It's something that I'm not sure would work in any other realm but Wrenchway right now. And so I'm really excited for it to get kicked off and going. And I know it's going to just really increase our candidates coming into the pool.
Definitely. We're excited to get it out there, and we're putting a lot behind this in terms of time, money, resources as well. So it's been a fun one for us. We're anxious to get it out again after the 4th of July. That week after we'll launch it. Sarah, if you want to go ahead, just for if you're at a shop and you're not already a Wrenchway client, this will be included in our free version. So the Top Shops part of what we have, it's $150 a month. You could reach out to unlimited candidates on these reverse job posts, plus you get all the other stuff that's listed there. But on our free version, you get School Connect, which again, we just went through. That's the instructor platform to help those guys out. But you can see all the reverse job posts, but then if you want to reach out to them, you essentially buy credits for it. So you don't have to commit to a whole Top Shop membership, but you buy credits. Now, for the first 3 months of it, all the credits are going to be free. So we're growing this and we want to get as many people using it as they can. So it's completely free at first to use that for a few months. We want to make it really simple and get people using it and familiar with it and how it works. And then as we progress along, as it grows, we'll add more bells and whistles and things. And we'll probably put some priority on the top shops, like show them higher on the list, or maybe let them reach out to the candidates first and things like that. But definitely for a while here, it's going to be free to use. Even after that, it'll always be free to scan and see if someone is worth reaching out to, and then you buy a credit for that. So pretty simple concept. Reach out to us there if you want to go to the next slide. If you are a shop that's interested in it, at the bottom here, you can email us. We'll show you a little demo if you want. Our site, I think, is getting updated as we speak, so maybe it's already. If not, it'll be updated tomorrow. That it'll include exactly what this is with kind of a how it works and all that good stuff. So if you're a shop, I would encourage everyone to get signed up because it's free. Basically, you sign up and you get an alert if there's a tech in your area looking, and then you talk to them if you want. If not, you ignore it. It's like, why would you not sign up for that on the free side? And then technicians, this will be all through our mobile app. So it's not a new app or anything like that that you have to sign up for. So our app just, and either the Google Play Store or the iOS Store, just download the app. It's Ranchwhite Insiders, get set up. Again, you're not going to see anything in there about reverse job posts for a couple more weeks. But in the meantime, you can get signed up, play that game we talked about, maybe win some of that money and the prizes. But that's the program. I'm curious. I don't know, Sarah, if there's been any comments or Q&A. I haven't been really watching that as much, or if anyone else has any questions about any of our programs. But Sarah, I think there might be a couple questions or no.
Let me look here. I haven't been able to see it sharing my screen.
Oh, yeah,
No, I think we're good right now.
Okay.
Got a couple questions that we can follow up with by email after the event, but I haven't followed the chat though, so I don't know if you guys have been able to keep up with that one.
No, that's perfect. I think for the reverse job post, it's such a simple concept. Everyone I've demoed it to a little bit is they like it and they're like, man, how is that not that way already? Or that's it. We've had amazingly good feedback from it. I think this will catch on definitely to see what's out there. Just like anything else, I'm sure there'll be little kinks that we have to work out, but we're excited about it. You're going to see a lot more from us about that. I mentioned earlier in the fall, we have more cool stuff coming up for School Connect. We're always adding more to the Top Shop program. Just in general, I guess for everyone watching, but for you guys here on the panel, one more time, just want to say both thank you for all your work the last year, but also congrats to a great first year of Wrenchway. I had mentioned before, this is my third tech startup. I was fortunate enough, the other two both got acquired by large companies. This has been by far the fastest growth we've seen We have a great team. You know, a lot of our team, I'm sure, is watching. Want to thank everyone who's been part of that as well. Maybe one more cheers and congrats to a good year, and then I'll let anyone add any other comments if they want on here.
I picked a couple more giveaway winners towards the end, so I'll just announce those off real quick. So I picked Sean Smith, Tracy Hicks, and Margaret Reagan. So congratulations. I'll be reaching out to all of you after the event.
Good deal. We got it's brilliant comment in there. And I mean, not to toot our own horn, but a lot of people we've shared this with, that's been the feedback of, like, if I was still looking for a job, this would be perfect. Because the people I've been talking to mostly about it are the ones that are hiring technicians. So it's great to see those comments roll in here. Jay, you usually do a better job of wrapping things up than me and maybe saying some of this stuff. So I'm going to leave last comments for you.
Yeah, I guess I would start by just thanking everybody for all of the support. Steve, it's been great to have you as a partner with Lithia, and really been kind of waving our flag for quite a while now. We can't tell you how much we appreciate that. And I guess to all of you that are on here, I see so many familiar names that we interact with every day, and so much support from the industry in general. And from the bottom of our hearts, that means the world to us. You know, we're trying to do right by the industry. We're trying to, you know, make this a great place to work, and a great, you know, I think we have a pretty great industry. It's just kind of fixing some things and the way we go about some things. So just want to say thank you to all of you that are out there that have supported us from really the get-go with the WrenchWay project. We've had some really great success, I feel like, and we're just getting started. I mean, there's a long way to go here. Some of the features, such as reverse job posts, you know, Mark, I think from the early days has said it's very much like kind of the Amazon Prime model where you're adding value, and that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to keep adding value to our members, and hopefully when we come back and do this in a year, we're talking about even crazier things. So just for me, it's just a simple thank you to everybody. We've been lucky and blessed with our team. We've got an incredible internal team here that I think really makes a lot of this much easier than it possibly could be. So yeah, just a I guess note of gratitude and thanks to everybody that's out there.
Awesome. Thank you, Steve. Any last words? Thanks again. Jay mentioned it already, but thank you so much for being on this panel and everything you help us out with.
It's totally my pleasure. Thank you guys for coming up with such a brilliant idea and then supporting it so well and then growing it to what it is. One thing I'd like to say to everybody that's in attendance, if you want to get my my contacts from Jay or Mark, I'm happy to talk to anybody about how we use this and what we're doing with it. I just think that keeping vocation alive is in the best interest of everybody, whether they're competitors or not. And I think this is a great tool for us to work with schools and everywhere else to kind of keep things going. So I'm happy to help in any way I can. And thanks again for all of the opportunities.
Awesome. Well, thanks everyone for attending. Like I said to start, this is recorded. We can send it out if you joined late or anything like that. Just kind of final thank you. Real quick, panelists, if you want to stay on after Sara stops it, we'll do one more cheers. I got a little left in my bottle here, so we gotta do one more drink here. But thank you, everybody, and have a good rest of your day and rest of your week.
Thank you.